dear viewers, we are happy to welcome you on ALLATRA TV Africa. Today we are able to gather people from various African countries in order to discuss the creative society, the model of society where you, your loved ones, and everyone in the world would live comfortably in all spheres of life. And it is possible thanks to technology and the rule of 6 handshakes, which means that we all connected through 5 or even less social connections. So let me tell you how we got to the idea of creative society. I'd like to start from mentioning this project on ALLATRA, in ALLATRA IPM, the Universal Grain, one of the projects of ALLATRA IPM. Within the framework of this project, interviews with specialists in different fields, representatives of different cultures and religions were taken, and thousands of social polls were conducted in more than 180 countries. As a result of the research came an understanding that we, all people, are the same. We have nothing to divide. We all strive for good and wish to live in peace and happiness. That we are all human beings and all of us have the same place of living, the earth, one nationality, mankind, one common value, life. After such inspiring answers of people from all over the world, a question arose. If we all feel the same, if we all strive for the same, then why doesn't our society and our world is not as good as it meant to be? So on 11th of May 2019, the global conference called Society the Last Chance united people from many countries of the world and in live communication. People gathered in numerous conference halls and openly discussed vital questions for our society. For example, why in the 21st century do we still have world problems such as wars, international conflicts, racial and religious discrimination, if people from different countries of the world primarily want the same thing, peace and happy life? As a result of this conference, people came to an understanding that the main reason for such a situation in the world we are facing right now is a consumer-based format of relations. Today, as never, we need to unite and choose a new vector of development for our society, which is creative society. The Creative Society project is a unique global project, which has been initiated by people themselves for the entire world on the volunteer basis. The goal of the project is to achieve creative society by peaceful means, such a kind of society where each person in the world will live happy and live in comfort and have everything necessary for living. Secure and stable society where each person is confident in his future. Dear viewers, you may find more information about this project on allatraunites.com. Olga, I'm giving the floor to you.
Thank you so much, Olga, for the introduction. And today we are having our third Speech of Friendship, because before we had our series of events, and it's a big pleasure for us to get to know more each other, because even by organizing this kind of telebridges, it's great to get to know each other even closer. And today we are continuing our discussion, and we are basing our telebridge on 8 ALLATRA foundations. As my co-host has mentioned, it was summarized out of opinions of peoples and also available on www.allatraunites.com. And today we have guests from Algeria, from Nigeria, from Ethiopia, even from China, from different countries, to discuss these vital issues that concerning actually all of us in the society, regardless where you came from. And let me also introduce our third co-host. His name is Kanu from Nigeria. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Kanu. Hello, Olga. Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much. And then I'm giving floor to our first speaker. His name is Mastewal, and he will introduce himself and tell us, he will tell also his vision about how his integration of African countries and his vision. Mr. Wad, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, friends. I'm from Ethiopia. I'm Mastwad. I'm from Ethiopia. I used to work at the University of Gondar for a couple of years. Currently, I'm studying in the Erasmus Mundus program in different European countries. I was in Belgium and Poland, and currently I'm in Hungary, Szeged, the southern part of Hungary. Today I'm going to present how infrastructure improved the creativity or creating a creative society. So I will, highlight the opportunities, what opportunity Africa has, and how to use what are the way out to integrate Africa in different means. So let me share you my PowerPoint. Can you see it right now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. As you can see, it's the title is the role of infrastructure for creating society, for creative society. So I will try to finish my presentation within 7 or 8 minutes. So to begin with, what are infrastructures? It seems there are economic infrastructure, or there are different facilities and activities, services. These are all the general umbrella of infrastructure, but there are different, and specifically there are different kinds of infrastructure that connect different regions or different countries or different cities. This includes railways, roads, ships, airways, communication, and other means. So these are very much helpful in order to connect or link different regions or different countries or across continents as well. So the thing is, how do this infrastructure ignite creative society? To what extent infrastructure able to build a creative society? And how does this opportunity induce creativity and employability of the society? So I will try to just highlight these questions by 5 slides. This is just the global railway distribution. As you can see, there is high railway distribution in North America and Western Europe and Southeast Asian countries, even in part of South America as well. But as you can see, there is minimal railway connections across different countries in Africa. So it has to be something that has to be done in order to facilitate economic integration and social integration of African countries as well. If African countries are integrated in a railway, it's not only improve the economic initiation of the countries or the continent. It also increases the social and cultural integration of different states as well. So that it could, in long run, there could be like even a political, integration if different, African countries are integrated very well. As you can see, there are some kind of, improvement, especially in southern parts of Africa and northern peak of Africa as well. But the rest of African continents lacks, railway connection. But different, data or statistics shows that there is actually starting from 2010, there is a big, improvement in railway distribution in Africa. And the other is ICT and telecommunication. As you can see, there is a high dense of ICT and telecommunication in North America, in Africa, West Africa and Russian region, and some Japan, and some Far East, areas. But there is some, as you can see, Africa is a bit, lacking telecommunication and ICT as well. So, but still there is actually like an initiation of some even outreach regions in Africa is accessing telecommunications these days as well. there is a bit, integrating African, continent in the rest of, global society these days. There is actually an improvement starting from 2005 to 2010. And the other is market integration. As you can see, there is a high market integration in North America and some European EU and some part of like Asia, especially in some Southeast Asian countries. They're bettering these days, but still there's lacking like in intrastate market and economic integration in Africa. But there are some kind of integration these days, especially in West Africa, Southern Africa, and East Africa as well these days. There is a kind of initiation in terms of market integration. But a lot has to be done in order to ignite, in order to initiate the economic initiation of the country, so that a creative society is possible. It's unlikely. It's impossible to say that there is no impossibility, but it is unlikely to say that it's possible to create a creative society with poorer economic condition. But in order to bring creative society, we have to put some kind of pressure, some kind of effort on the economic development of our continent. But different data show that there is unprecedented intrastate economic integration in some parts of regions. And what are the opportunities? As you can see, Africa is 70% of the global population, and most of African population, if you see, it's like youngsters. They're very much energetic. There is a favorable condition for like employment and something like that, and political environment as well. This potential would bring sizable change in our continent, in the global society as well. And Africa covers 9.6% of oil output, and you can imagine that how important oil these days. So it has to be extracted very well in order to properly use the oil in order to initiate the economy, so that in order to bring a creative society as well. And it is 90% of the world platinum and cobalt supply. It's, as you know, how platinum to what extent it is very expensive, treasure and mineral these days, so that it has to be used properly by the African continent in order to bring Africa from its poverty line. And Africa is half of the world gold supply and 2/3 of the world's manganese supply, and 35% of the world uranium is from Africa. So especially Africa has to be, Africans has to become, come to the point that the hotspot for, attracting investors throughout the world, so that Africa will be, to highly integrate in the rest of the world. And what are the way forward here? A lot has to be done on vocational education, because vocational education, it increases, it initiates creativity and innovation, so that this young emerging generation could, bring sizable change in their continent. And economic integration has to be done as well, because unless different states are integrated in terms of economy, it's unlikely, and it's less likely to be boom the economy and to bring out the society from its poverty line. And employability of the youth also is something that is, that has to be done, because as you can see in Philippines, for example, they are working on, and every year a lot of remittance is gained from Filipinos who are working throughout the world, because they are equipped, they are well trained, they are making their society employable, so that every country would interested on them, so that they are not only exporting the remittance, they are also exporting knowledge, experience, and other social, human capital as well. And computer literacy has to be something to be done. There is actually lacking of computer literacy, especially Southeast Asian countries are working very hard on this. So they are benefiting their society as well. So if you are working on this, we can bring a creative society. It's possible to bring a creative society, which is free from any kind of criminality and other social elements as well. So this is my presentation for today. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Masterval, for this meaningful presentation. And actually, it gives us pure facts that it's totally possible to achieve the integration, and it's possible to build telecommunications infrastructure in Africa. And we have also like railroads that also be rebuilt maybe. So it shows to us that it's totally possible, it's totally feasible, and we would like to invite our second speaker, Yasser Adam. He's a social activist from Darfur, from Sudan, who will give us also a historical overview of African continent. Yasser, you are welcome.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Olga, and thank you, the former speaker, who actually highlighted very well the challenges Africa facing right now. And I completely agree with most of the point he presented. Thank you, colleague. My background, as Alexandra introduced me, I am Yasser Adam from Sudan. I am a social activist, and I am from Darfur within Sudan. The background I am talking about is not just it's not about putting or blaming someone for what is for the current situation of Africa, but it's more of to highlight the root cause of the current situation that Africa is in and how we end up with all those obstacles. So to have a better understanding for future planning and how we can make potential ways for Africa to integrate and unite. And then that will help also the global solidarity to become one people, one nation, one humanity as a platform of ALLATRA advocating for. So basically, I believe African problems or economic challenges are deeply rooted to the colony history. And I am basically going to talk about the borders and how it created the economic integration obstacles, because African borders have been divided and Africa was being mapped during the Berlin Conference, as most of us know, those who has historical background about African history, on 1884-85. And this mapping was started with Congo River due to request of the King Albert of Belgium at that time. So they mainly map Africa not based on a demography of its people or putting one ethnicity in one place. It's not for political interest, but the main interest of the colony power at that time was to divide it based on the resource and how they can make easy the exploitation of resource and importing it to where they want to take it. So basically, when they start mapping, they start with Congo River and they just map it in a way that can help them taking the routes from the interior of Congo to the coastal area. And the rest of Africa followed. Everybody will start mapping according to his economic interest and then political sovereignty on those resources. And that is where African problem started. From that, I will just Just 1 minute to open my screen because I'm also reading it from here. So I believe like no freedom in Africa or no independence without land ownership and economic liberty, because you can say I have sovereignty, I have political independence, I have one nation, but that is not true without you owning your economic. And at personal level, as I believe for us as individuals, when we say like, oh, me as if today I'm an independent, it is basically mean I have the financial capability to respond to my needs as Yasser. And that is the base of economic foundation. And this financial capability can help me making my own decisions that can serve my interest and also influencing my relation to other people around me. So if I don't own my financial, I don't own the means and the asset to my financial needs, that is means someone is still owning my decision. And that is where Africa fall, and the economic challenges are mainly coming from that historical background and the relations with the former colony from Europe. So as the economy is the power, and it is a true authority and the sovereign for Africans. And I think the African mainly inherited those borders and very, very disadvantaged systems that established by colonies power, which is not helping to serve the African interest. And this is why we are not going anywhere. So we left behind, and socially, economically, politically, because of this collective mind culture that we inherited from the colonies. Way ahead, I completely agree with what the former speaker was, or the first speaker was concluded as the way forward. We should start with education, but within education, else we should focus on decolonizing the mind, because you can train someone through vocational trainings to just have an income in a certain area, but without that mental set, nothing will change, because you already talked, the former speaker already talked about the 4 elements, which mean like railways to connect Africa, or to connect African countries among them and facilitate the movement of the trade and of the goods and people. Then he also talked about communications as one of the basics for improving the economics. He also talked about.
So you mean also that personal development of people of Africa are also important, yeah? Because we also have 8 ALLATRA foundations, and one of the foundations tell us about creative ideology. Creative ideology in the creative society. So maybe our technical support team can show to us this foundation, because without the creative ideology, it's something that makes the society solid. And especially what you are saying, that now, based on your experience, you think about that changing, but a kind of trying to opening the mentality of African people, it will help to move forward the things. So I think that this foundation of ALLATRA that tell us about creative ideology is something that becomes very important.
Thank you, Alexandra, for pointing this out. I think creative ideas can come from what I agree with my former speaker about it. Like education can be one of them, because Africa is already branded so negatively outside in the Western media, through the mass media. And when everybody keeps thinking about you negatively and think about Africa as only war zone, very poor people, is a poverty zone, then diseases, is a continent full of useless people, and no one will think positively about it. So the positive thinking will start by branding those, like rewriting African history, and that is very important for me as a scholar. I think if we want to start positively reconstructing Africa, we should deconstruct what was built on African people mind, and that is start with education as first stage. So through education, we can achieve all those other things that my former speaker talked about. Besides what he mentioned also, I think it's very important for our rulers and politicians to understand that the current or the inherited borders with the treaties, the economic treaties that they also inherited from the colonies are not helping Africa anywhere, and they are not taking us anywhere. So they have to look also, besides those very practical stages and steps that my former colleague mentioned, also the politicians should contribute to that by making the economic policy more flexible for people to move among those countries. Because I mentioned this earlier, like you will find between Sudan and Chad, we have one ethnical group but divided into two countries. The movement between those two countries is very hard for those one ethnical groups. You can find one family divided into two countries. So without flexibility in the policies and trading treaties, this cannot be easy to people. So I also look at it from this perspective. We should also engage people socially and have for them a fundamental movement that can help them, not removing, not abolishing the borders, but at least having more flexible policies that can allow them to move around Africa and with other continents as well. So that can be one of the ways of having people connected and facilitating the exchange of goods among Africans and among African and other continents as well. Thank you. This is what I want to say.
A good beginning also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to mention where we have this idea of 8 foundations of creative society, which Olga just mentioned for our viewers and for those who hear about it for the first time. I wanted to say that the ALLATRA movement participants conducted social service, like thousands of them, and in interviews all over the world, including roundtables and millions of interviews all over the world. And as a result of these social polls and interviews and so on, the 8 foundations of creative society have been formed. So these 8 foundations combine everything which we heard from people from all over the world and just formed into 8 main poles, like of creative society, which the poles we can build the creative society, the society all people want. So, and I want to give the floor to Olga to introduce maybe our next speaker.
I think maybe we can show now the 8 ALLATRA foundations, because what do you think, Olga? Because
Okay.
the basis of our telebridge, maybe it's good even for the audience who maybe will see us for the first time to go through them briefly, if we can ask our technical support to show them on the screen.
And while our technical support is preparing to show us all 8 foundations, I want to say that this information, this article about 8 foundations of creative society, you can see on allatraunites.com website. You can find it on your own and read the whole article and see for yourself. And
Yasir for this interesting presentation, and now I think we can watch 8 ALLATRA foundations.
Thank you very much to our technical support and the beautiful video.
And now we are coming
And
to
let's
our
introduce our next speaker. Yes,
speaker.
go ahead, Olga.
Basically, we have also with us Francois. If you remember, Olga, we had already with him a discussion within our roundtables on 6 degrees of connection, where he was talking about Ubuntu. Actually, the history of Africa showing to us that staying united as humanity is very easy and natural. And today, Francois, he is the head of the Association of African Diaspora in Russia, will tell us and continue this discussion. Francois, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Olga. Hello, everybody. So I thank very much my brother from Sudan who talked about African history. And we know that we have a big history, but it is not very well known in the world. So I think he told about the colonization, about that we must to decolonize on the first plane our mind and to make education. So I will continue in this issue because I propose you to make a looking at African history as a storehouse of materials for a creative society. So as Olga said, my talk today is about this looking at history. And the last time, as she told, I told about during my last intervention at the ALLATRA platform, I talked about the philosophy of Ubuntu. As more of us knows, this philosophy combines all the values of human solidarity. The word Ubuntu itself has no equal full-fledged translation into foreign languages. Its common translation means humanity. Ubuntu is a humanist philosophy of the African nations founded on the ethics of solidarity based on the relation toward the other. And usually we say, I am because we are. That's the signification of all values of this philosophy. If we are, I know that I am. So I am because we are. This is the central element of this philosophy. We inherited this philosophy from our ancestors who lived prosperously on the African continent. We also inherited from them a wonderful means of communication between us, language. True, unlike us, they communicated in only one language. I think it's people who is working on history, especially Egyptology, are teaching that in Africa, all Africans people have a one origin language. There is a link of all languages in Africa. So we know that we have a tool that allows one nation to join the culture of another. Having got acquainted with another culture, people understand better each other. The processes of adaptation and integration in the new society, the interpenetration of different cultures are easier. The culture of the modern African nations is multifaceted, like the culture of other people of the world. Each African nation has its own everyday culture, painting, music, plastic, dance, sculpture, etc. All of this is subject to wide familiarization. All this wealth came to us through the history which was made by our wise and brave ancestors. We need to enhance cultural exchanges between people. This contributes to education and the development of a creative thinking person. This means that it increases creativity among the participants of these exchanges. Unfortunately, modern men often forget about history. Often, he writes it at his own discretion. He writes it depending on his interest of the moment. As consequence, it deprives today's young of the opportunity to use the right tools to build a better world. But there is a good news. The good news is that today's young people has modern tools owing to information technology. True, young youth need the right guidelines. There is a saying in Africa, the one who wears pearls does not know that he's wearing it. Many Africans, especially young people, are unaware of Africa's wealth. People think about material wealth, forgetting about non-material wealth. I believe that everyone involved in a creative society needs an intensification of cultural contact between peoples. Culture preserved for millennia brings to us the material that are needed for a true creative society. Along with the values of the philosophy Ubuntu, which is still alive among many African nations, the history of the Black continent continues to retain many agreeable surprises. What caused studying social relations that were systematically regulated by well-established rules? When I was listening on the platform, it was a publication about rights. In Africa, many years, there was, I don't know how to translate in English, but math. And I think my colleague from Sudan now, because just it was a Sudanese who talked about this platform about math. It was a good regulator of relations in Africa. Most likely, this is the topic of another speech. But in any case, it invites us to turn our view on the history of Africa as a storehouse of materials for creative society. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Francois, for this very interesting presentation. You actually started a new issue that we didn't think before about thinking about the historical part in a detailed way, about artifacts of Africa, about traditions of Africa. How not to forget this historical heritage that we do have, and it's still saved in different signs and symbols that are surrounding us. And I think it's very important what you just mentioned, that this Ubuntu philosophy, that I exist because we exist. Even, you know, to put together, you know, this bridge of friendship. We had already so many people, even our technical team is helping us a lot. I know that now also our translation unit is translating this telebridge in the French language. So I think it's not applicable also to Ubuntu, but it's applicable to all of us, not even to Africans, that I exist because we exist. And
yes, of course,
yeah.
that from African nations, but it is for all the world. If the people around the world can see in this history and take those materials, those values, I think we will build a good way. We will build a society we like, where all things will be better.
Certainly, certainly.
Yeah.
And before we are coming to our second section on role of the mass media in the creative society, maybe someone, I mean, and also other speakers have questions to these three important presentations that we have just heard, to Masteval and to Francois, and also to Yassir.
Sorry, Olga. Can we take the question and answer after the session, please? Some of us have got other appointments. So that,
because we just finishing, certainly because we are finishing our first section now, I thought maybe we can allow some questions. If any, if there is no question, we can move to second section. That's okay with me. So shall we then move to our second section on the role of the mass media and give the floor to Manal. She's psychologist from Morocco, and she'll tell us some facts about the mass media in the creative society, and will share her vision.
Good morning, everybody. So, first of all, I would like to talk about journalism. So, journalism is the activity of gathering, assisting, creating, and presenting news and information. So, journalistic media includes print, television, radio, or internet. So, news is that part of communication that keeps us informed of the changes, events, issues, and characters in the world outside. So the most used channel in journalism or media is the social media, for example, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. So spending time on social media can also lead to some mental problems. So when we come to social media, can lead us to compare with what we see of others' lives. So in like exposure this other lives to our own lives. So in that can make us feel worse. So people can develop psychological diseases due to this intensity of the exposure to social media. And research shows that what we see on the news can significantly impact our mental health. Well, negative news may influence our thinking throughout multiple mechanisms. One important consideration is how it interfaces with our cognitive basis, keeping our focus on everything that's going wrong while blending us to all the good news around us. So, in cognitive bias is like we just focus on the negative facts or negative things, and even we can think negatively about any facts around us. So in 2019, a study of more than 6,500 of between 12 and 15 years old of in
Manal?
the US. Yeah.
Manal, I'm sorry, just your sound is breaking up. Maybe it's headphones. Do you think you can fix it a little bit so we could hear you better and more clearly?
Did you hear me?
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Okay.
Try to
So
say
can you hear
something.
me now? No.
Yes,
Do
I hear
me?
you, but I still hear some noise with your speech.
No, it's
Maybe
okay.
without headphones would be better.
Okay. Let me. I will try to close those. Maybe is it noise around?
No. Every time you talk, there is some glitching in with your voice. I think it's headphones, possibly.
Yeah, I think you better to plug in very well. Maybe the earphone.
Yeah, maybe you can use the speakers of the computer. Sorry.
Because the information is very, interesting, and we want to hear it well. So
now, can you hear me well? Is it better?
Yes, I hear you, guys. Is it better?
it's a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me. Pardon.
Okay, let's wait for our speaker.
Now you can hear me well.
It's okay now, Mana. You can go on. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, go on.
So, I told you in this study found that teenagers, especially between 12 to 15 years old in the US, found that those who spend more than the 3 hours a day using social media might be a heightened risk to mental health problems. And the study found that more than 12,000 between 13 and 16 years old in England found that using social media more than 3 times a day predicted poor mental health and well-being. And we can observe that for people who say or who are focusing on negative effects, negative events or news, they can develop depression with time and suicidal acts with time because of the bad news. Your brain is exposing to just the negativity. That's your brain functioning and make you thinking negatively, and also your behavior become abnormal. And concerning also the aggressivity, because we are learning by imitation. So unlike most species, we are able to learn by imitation, and this faculty is the basis of human culture. So research showed that the exposure to violent video games, as Olga, if you remember, in the roundtable when we was talking about the gaming disorder. So the violent video games cause increase in aggression. So and initial correlational study shows that video game violence exposure is positively correlated with self-reports of aggressive behavior, in that this relation is robust to controlling for multiple aspects of personality. And neurophysiological experiments demonstrate that when individuals observe an action done by another individual, their motor cortex become active, and in the absence of any overt motor. So just seeing an action, an aggressive action, your motor cortex start to activate, and that is due to the mirror neuron. So if you don't mind, I can explain what motor neuron means and what its function. So mirror neurons are a category of neurons in the brain that exhibit activity both when an individual performs an action and when he observes another individual performing the same action, or even when he imagines an action. So the activation is existing by doing the action or observing the action, someone doing the action, or just imagining the action. So in that reason, we found that kids or children or teenagers who are addicted to gaming disorder show aggressive behaviors, even if the aggression is just observed in the media or in the screen. So and in cognitive neuroscience, so mirror neurons play a role in also in social cognition, especially in learning by imitation, but also in affective processes such like empathy. So in social cognition, in mirror neurons are related, so much related. And the model of how they understand that the mental state of older people has suggested that we mentally put ourselves in other people's shoes. And for example, when you see someone who is suffering from a disease, or someone who is suffering from any problem, so we put ourselves in his place. So we start to feel the bad feeling, all the worst feeling, or in emotions this person can maybe has, and that's affecting negatively our daily life. So, for example, if you woke up at the morning and you was so happy, so nature mode or neutral mode, and once you start reading a bad news about, for example, someone killed another, etc., that negatively affects your mental state, your mood first. At the morning, you hearing a bad news. And that was I observed in social media, in news, in Facebook, or in WhatsApp. They are concentrating on the bad news, and that's and especially, for example, in coronavirus period, people are closed. There is no social interaction, and in the same time, there is a bad news. A very high number of people are die. High number are affected by corona. Except this bad news affected people negatively, and I observed that as a psychologist, I observed that people that before corona and the behaviors after corona, like it changes a little bit. Like they become abnormal a little bit. And even their communication become like negative more than positive, and even the mood like not stable like before. So in this motor mirror neuron are a particular class of visual motor, because what we observe, what we say, and then what we are executing. So it discovered in monkeys, as you know. So when the monkey does a particular action, and when it observes another individual or monkey or human, so it's doing so the similar action. So in here, I would like to mention that we should be careful of what we read. We should be careful of what we hear. We should be careful of what we watch. I made an experience. It's on myself, of course. I can do it on humans. So I try to I do it three times. Yeah, but in different periods. So the first, I was concentrated on like films that are showing violence, you know, it's violence. And then I was exposed to this films for 2 days successively. And in this period, you know, I feel like I have this tendency to be violent, to show violence or to be violent, you know. And I do another one. So I chose emotional films for 2 days, successively. So one followed by another. And I felt at that time like I become so emotional. I become love everybody. I was in love with everyone, and I was like, you know, emotional. So what I watch affects my mood and affects my behavior. And that's so important that people should pay attention to what they watch, and even the children, because the children are so sensitive to every stimulus. So and thank you.
Thank you so much, Manal, for this detailed explanation, because after, especially to listen to the opinion of neuropsychologist, how it actually works in our body, that we should be careful what we are watching, what we are actually saying, and it's also was very interesting to get to know about these mirror neurons that are existing in the brain. And I just would like to maybe to invite people to have a look also in the book ALLATRA. There is information about mirror neurons in a detailed way, where you can also understand how it works and why it is important to get to know this information for the mass media and how it works.
Yes, thank you very much. This proves once again that we should really be a good example to other people.
Exactly.
Always in social media, on TVs, in our daily life, to our kids, in our family. What role play we have? How will we? What our behavior is? The other people may copy it, may go from there and take it as a wrong way, and we should be really careful about it. Media is really important in our life, and especially when we have lockdowns and we sit home, and what we have TV and internet, and what do we watch on internet, and what we watch the most is how to say this properly. It creates the
actually
sorry,
creates, I think, our life. It creates our life.
It creates okay. Sorry, I forgot the word. I'm sorry. And okay, so I would like to move to our next speaker, and I'd like to invite Josh Daniel to talk about how important unification is and advantages of unification. Please, Josh.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Josh Daniel. I am the Vice President and Country Chair for Global Goodwill Ambassadors, GGA. We are humanitarian organizations in about 217 countries and territories with about 70,000 members around the world. By profession, I am a building civil engineer, studied building engineering from the University of Westminster in London, United Kingdom. I'm a strong advocate of women empowerment and gender equality. I'm a humanitarian to the core. Unification and unification of Africa and advantages of this. From our previous speakers, we know that one of the things that can unify us as Africans is integration of infrastructure and social services. Africa, we're really backwards when we talk about integration and social services. Africa is a very fertile land, a lot of natural resources. So there should be integration of infrastructures and social services. This will make Africans as a whole to unite. We also have ICT and telecommunications. It's unfortunate that at the moment, despite the fact that Africa is a very rich country, or continent, sorry, we don't have satellite in space, which will give us good internet connection. So most of us, like I am connecting to this event through my data, cell phone data, provided by the communication company, which is expensive and not that strong. But if you have strong satellite, Africans would be able to do more and connect to the entire world. Market integration and economy integration is one of the advantages of that can unite Africa. There are a lot of discrepancies in trade and marketing and economy integrations. At the moment, on the corridors of West Africa, which is where Nigeria lies, the borders are closed. And why is the border closed? Nigeria says it wants a country, our citizens, to patronize made in Nigerian products. So this is blocking trades to other African countries. But when there's good market integration and economic integration, such things will not happen. Giving opportunities to young ones. There are a lot of young ones in Africa that can contribute to the unification and development of Africa. And this can be done through education. That's another advantages of unification. Education, vocational education will help a lot. Education is the key to any development, to any innovation. So when our Africans invest in education, Africa, there's development, there's unity, there's peace in Africa because of this development. Employment of youth. There's massive unemployment at the moment in Africa, just like everywhere in the world as well. So if there is employment for everyone, it will unify Africa. If I know I can move from Nigeria to say Ethiopia or Rwanda or any other African country and get a job as a qualified engineer, it unites the whole continent. Computer literacy is another, we're in the computer age, information technology age. So if people are computer literate, it helps to unite, because we all will be on the same level. That one of the most important things or advantages that can unite Africans is good leadership and management skills. At the moment, I need to be honest, Africa were lacking behind in management and leadership skills. But these are the things that can unite Africa. Then just like our previous speakers, they've mentioned, we need a change of attitude. We all know that attitude is like a flat tire. If you don't change your attitude, you cannot move. If you don't change your flat tire, you cannot drive your car. So we need a change of attitude in Africa. Then we also talk about one of the advantages that can unite Africa is cultural and heritage exchanges. These are things that can really unite Africa as a whole. Then our last speaker also talked about freedom of the press. We know now that everybody, social media, I'm sitting in Nigeria and Olga is in Russia. It's easier for us to come together and talk about things that is affecting our world. So social media, enhancing our social media, making it more better, we unite Africa. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you, the host, for this opportunity. I'm really humbled and honored to meet you all, to speak before you. And I do hope we all keep safe and keep healthy. I know soon coronavirus is going to be over. Thank you, everybody.
You mentioned
Thank you
that
very
you are
much for your
from
speech.
Nigeria, yeah? Joseph.
Joshua, yes.
Joshua. And we have also our co-host, and our co-host is also from Nigeria.
That's good.
Kanu, yeah? So you're from Nigeria. So I think it's very important, and I don't know, what do you think, that free movement of people within the continent, it actually facilitates not only the trade, but it also facilitates the unification of people. What do you think also based on your Nigerian experience? I don't know.
Yeah.
With your colleague from the same country, I mean, because you are guys from the same country.
I think I quite agree with you. I'll tell you what, yeah, I've lived most of my life in Western world, especially in Europe. But I love Africa. So when I move around Africa, I don't like flying around Africa because I love seeing things. So I go by road. I've traveled from Nigeria to Republic of Benin, to Togo, to Ghana. It's very, very interesting. Free movement of people interact with the border, coming out of the coach or from the bus, and then crossing each of these borders. It's very, very interesting. I could see free movement of people, but like I said, unfortunately, COVID-19 has restricted that. Because at the moment, I will have been in Malawi, in Sierra Leone, in Liberia for some humanitarian event, but unfortunately, I hope I'll be able to do this after the COVID-19. Yeah, so free movement of people is very important and can really unite Africans. And I think sports also can really, sports and musical concert can really unite Africa. We all know sports, especially football, or what we call soccer in the US, unites the whole world. So those are the things that can really unite Africa.
Thank you so much for this presentation. It actually gives us more and more inspiration and maybe highlights some ideas for the upcoming telebridges, because what we have just heard about Ubandu nation, what we just heard about your ideas about free movement of people within the African continent will help us to facilitate not the trade and but also exchange of culture. Because it's, as you said, a very good example that people from Nigeria can freely visit Ethiopia, and it's very, very important and inspiring information and your vision that you are sharing with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really liked your speech also, and you mentioning the internet, how great when we have a very good connection and we can actually unite together. Like today with us, so many countries like Morocco, Algeria, Nigeria, and Sudan, and Ukraine. I'm from Ukraine, and Olga from Russia. And it's great that we can unite in one call and discuss the questions, discuss the problems of society, and think of the ways how to make our society better. And on this project, Creative Society, we are on informational stage right now, when we inform people that let's think about how to make our society a better place. Let's think about future today if we want to live in a better future tomorrow. So thank you very much for mentioning.
So we are coming now to our next section. It's about personal development. And I would like to introduce our next speaker. His name is Emmanuel, and he is a civil engineer. And after reading our 8 ALLATRA foundations, he proposed to talk about a meaningful life. And in our preparation call, when we asked him, what do you mean about meaningful life? He said, in the creative society, people have meaningful life, because it's linked to our first foundation that human life is of the highest value. Emmanuel, do you hear us? So if you do, so you can please proceed with your...
We can hardly hear you. I want to offer, maybe do it without camera, and you'll be able to
Yes.
have a better connection.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I decided to off my camera.
Yes,
Can you hear
yes,
me?
yes. Yes,
Now very
Emmanuel,
well.
we hear you, and we're ready to listen.
I'm having a very terrible internet connection. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes. Hello. You can go
Hello?
on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, please, if you don't mind, could you possibly remind me of the question you asked?
We are coming now to our section about personal development and your speech about meaningful life, like meaningful life and first ALLATRA Foundation.
Yes. Concerning what I have about meaningful life in the creative society, everybody wants to be happy. That is the target of every human. Every humanity wants to be happy. So, but is there anything more to life than just being happy? Well, yes, there could be. What I see as something that is more to life than just being happy is to seek meaning in life. Seeking meaning in life will go a long way in helping us address the issue of maybe at a certain point in a person's life, when he has a good time, he's happy, and when he's having a terrible situation or difficulties, the person might tend to be sad or depressed. But seeking meaning in life will help to address such issues. And what do I mean by seeking meaning in life? It's just about we trying to use our talent, our capabilities, our competence to help make difference in the lives of others. I think that is more important than being happy. But how can someone possibly live meaningfully? When you look at it very critically, you know that living a meaningful life shouldn't be postponed. It shouldn't be something we are hoping to behold. It should be in the process. It should be engaged in the process. So one of the stages which I believe could help us actualize or achieve this life of meaningfulness is self-discovery. It is extremely important that once one could be able to answer or ask certain questions like, why am I created, or who am I on earth? Discovering oneself, because I believe that fish don't need to go to school before learning how to swim. So when one discovers himself where he could feature well, the area he belongs, and make every effort committed to becoming the best of who or she is in that area, will go a long way in helping the person actualizing or beholding a meaningful life or seeing meaning in his or her life. So the second part or the second stage, which I believe would help us actualize this life of meaningfulness, is sense of purpose. Sense of purpose. I will just put it in a simple way. Purpose is just solving people's problems, because when we solve people's problems, we are indirectly solving our own problem. That is the secret of solving our problems. When we solve people's problems, we tend to solve ours, because I believe that we are much happy. We are successful by what we get, and we are much happier by what we give. And when those things we have been given to the world are being used to make a difference in the lives of others, such things will never be taken away from us. So I believe that when we give back to the world, it will surely come back to us.
Emmanuel, we don't hear you.
You can hear me.
Oh, okay, I hear
you
you
can
now.
Hear me clearly.
Yes, okay, go on. We didn't hear you just a couple of seconds ago.
So I'm talking about having. Okay, a sense of purpose, giving back to the society, using our God-given talents, our capabilities to make a positive difference in society. Such will bring meaning to people, and as a matter of fact, giving us a sense of meaningfulness in life. So the third stage, which I believe could help us actualize life of meaningfulness, is what I call transcendence. Transcendence in the sense that there is a certain point in a person's life when his thought process tend to vibrate at a frequency far beyond the normal average, the average human thinking. Take for instance, some people connect to this. Some people tend to have this experience while they are praying. Some have it while looking at work of art. Some have it while meditating, and so many other places. For instance, I connect to this higher intelligence while writing. So when you engage in your thought process in these areas where you connect your mind to high intelligence, it will make you feel at ease, make you feel comfortable and happy. You lift you above to a certain to a kind of lift you above the hustle and bustle of our daily lives. And when you connect to this intelligence, you tend to discover certain things that will bring meaning to the world. Because I know that solitude is the school of genius. Most of the things that have been discovered are when people have connected to a certain level of intelligence where an average human could not connect. So such will help us actualize meaning in life by discovering or inventing what will make the world a better place and make our life a better one. So the last but not the least of it is what I call power of positive self-talk. Power of positive self-talk. Napoleon Hill said that faith could be created where it doesn't exist by a repeated positive affirmation we give to our mind. So when we are very conscious of the fact that our words becomes our reality, when we are very conscious of that, it will help us to recreate the kind of words we pronounce, the kind of words we prophesy, the kind of words we affirm. So when we have seen that the positive words we are uttering, our utterances are in line with what we are seeing in reality, that will bring a meaning to our life. So I will now say that our words are just like seeds, planted on the garden of our mind, and we do eat the fruit of our words, and words do become flesh. So giving out positive words and consistently making positive affirmations will certainly help us actualize a positive outcome, a positive reality. And when such outcome have been seen, or have been actualized, or have been achieved, it will help us to see that we are somehow the creator of our own destiny, and we are co-creators with the masterpiece. So with these 4 stages which I have outlined, I believe, which are one of them is discovering of oneself, knowing who you are and why you are created, and committed to becoming the best of who you are. Secondly, sense of purpose, solving people's problems, knowing that when you solve people's problems, your own problems will be solved. Thirdly, transcendence, trying to connect to a higher intelligence that will help one to create what will bring meaning to the world. And finally, positive self-talk, talking to ourselves positively and giving positive affirmations to our mind that will bring a positive reality. So these 4 stages, I believe, will help us behold or actualize a life of meaningfulness. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wanted to, it was a great speech, and
yes.
really enjoyed listening to you. I wanted to add that this is the vital questions. Why can't we be happy as society? And I wanted to mention that there is a program that came out on ALLATRA TV that called What is Happiness, with participation of Igor Mikhailovich Danilo, which answers also questions about what prevents a person from being happy and what is the true happiness, and what is the true freedom, what must be done so that society could live happily. And I wanted to invite everyone to watch it because now it's available in English and our volunteers translated it. And thank you very much, Emmanuel. It was really great to have you today. And I see that one more person joined our conference, which is Leslie from US. Hello, Leslie.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Hello, great. I'm so happy that you could join us today, and very happy to see you with us. I want to ask you a question as you joined in the middle of our conference, and what role does unity and friendship play in today's situation in the world? Would you please
say that again? What?
What role does unity and friendship play in today's situation in the world?
Oh, it plays such
what do you think?
And maybe Leslie, you can also introduce yourself, because for some,
yes, of course,
you are.
Yes,
I mean, they would be very curious. Then ask hosts,
yes,
who are you? So
yes, I'm Leslie from the U.S. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
And yes, here in Atlanta, Georgia, I teach exercise, and I teach it in multiple languages. I'm known as the fitness guru for the seniors here. Yeah, in Atlanta. Yes. Now, what I think of unity, well,
and
we're
friendship.
sitting, we're sitting in it right now. We're sitting in unity. We're sitting in friendship right now.
Yeah.
You know, this whole operation is all about unity and building bridges. And these bridges, they come from all over. We're free to build this bridge and come together for one common goal. You know, so we're all united at that one common goal. And the bridges are beautiful, different languages, different colors of skin, different cultures, all coming together at this moment, right now. This is what we're doing. We're sharing what we love about ourselves, what we love about life, what we love about sharing what we have and what we know and what we're passionate about. This is such a moment of coming together in unity with our hearts, with our minds and souls. And it means a lot because we all know thought brings reality. Thought brings reality in what we think and what we aspire and what we enjoy and love about our world and how we live in it. And as we come together in this way, we evolve because we get to learn more about each other. And you can only unite when you're willing to accept the differences in each other and you see humans and you don't see anything else. And it's great to be different. I love it. I love being different and seeing different people and learning different things and enjoying life itself in unity and friendship. We develop these friendships by coming together. We develop these friendships of unity. It comes from unity, these friendships. You know, over the months that I've been
Thank you so much for this. You actually gave us a lot of inspiration because, you know, some guests are struggling with the internet connection. We cannot hear them well, but we are still trying to do our best to move forward because for us it's very important to build this bridge, as you mentioned, the bridge of friendship that is regardless of any distance, regardless of any obstacles, regardless of whatever is still going on. And we are very thankful to everyone actually who are watching us, who made this live stream actually come true, and just reminding our guests that we are basing our telebridge on 8 ALLATRA foundations. 8 foundations of the creative society.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And as I always end with, ALLATRA starts with all. It starts with all.
Exactly, exactly. We enjoyed very much your previous participation in our telebridges, and you know, the guests are asking us how they can get to know you closer. They want to talk to you because when we talking to people from different countries, from different cultures, and we are open-minded, so it makes our life also easier. So we can trust. You know, by this. Communication, we can still build and trust that no one is enemy to each other anywhere, basically. And it's so important times to build this trust because also we are in the times of the climatic change on Earth, and we'll be coming out to the last section on unification and climate change, and we so much appreciate your participation with us today. Yes.
Absolutely. You are so welcome. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you
And
very
with
much.
trust comes love. With trust comes love. Absolutely.
Certainly, certainly. We
Yes,
mentioned
and
happiness, but also we should mention love. Exactly.
love, of course. And also the goal of today's roundtable is to promote awareness about responsibility to building creative society and by peaceful means. And currently we implement the first stage of achieving such kind of society, the informational stage. And the more people will find out it faster, and it will be implemented faster. The faster it will be implemented. And only in unity, with mutual understanding and respect, combining our best skills and talents, we can really build a society we can be proud of. And it depends on every one of us, as even without one person, society is not complete. At the end, I would like to remind our viewers that if you would like to find out more information on the topic of creative society and about creative society project, please visit the website allatraunites.com. And if you would like to join the creative society project, go to our website, and at the top of the page in the right corner, you will see the red button, Join Us, where you can choose your language and share your vision on creative society. So please join.
Thank you so much, Olga, for this reminding. And let me now introduce our next speaker, who is Father Rahman, Sudanese student who is living in China. So he will tell us about unification and maybe his experience in another country. Father Rahman, do you hear us now? So maybe he will join us then in the coming minutes. And also we have two speakers, El Mahdi from Morocco and also Muhammad from Sudan. So maybe then Mahdi can elaborate on education, because we know that he was preparing his vision, how he sees the education in the creative society. Because in our telebridge, when we had it with Morocco, he was saying that from his point of view, education should be free and accessible to everyone, and we shouldn't struggle to come to school, because it should be available everything, infrastructure also, so this people from the village can come to school and can study. So maybe Mahdi, you can tell us, what do you think about how education should look like in the creative society?
Okay, yes. Could you hear me?
Yes, very well. You can maybe introduce yourself and...
Okay. My name is Mehdi, and I'm from Morocco, and I am a university student, and I study linguistics. And as everyone knows that education is the ministry of the society. Education can affect society in many important ways. And as we can here, we can bring the famous saying of uh, Franklin Roosevelt. He is saying that democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely. The real safeguard of democracy, therefore, is education. In a creative society, people need a good qualitative education if they want a good democracy. Education can lead to economic prosperity in the global marketplace, and it can give people who live in the society the skills they need to compete in the global marketplace. And the skills they also need to produce technical goods that can be sold in the open market. And education can also greatly affect society by giving individuals the knowledge they need to elect capable leaders. For instance, education helps people to see through the manipulation used by politicians to get votes so that the individuals can vote for the leader who is best able to run on the society. And here is a famous saying, goes like, politics, we presume that everyone who knows how to get vote knows how to administer a city or a state. Education can help societies and even the world to change for the better. And here is also a saying of Malcolm X, who said that education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs
Very
to
good
those who
expression.
prepare for it today. And education is a powerful weapon or a powerful tool that can be used to make the world a better place to live in. Education can also reduce violence and crime in society, and it can create hope for the future. And let's consider the John F. Kennedy saying when he said, "Let us think of education as the means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us there is a private hope and dream which fulfilled can be translated into benefit for everyone and the greatest strength for our nation." But the question is that what kind of education a creative society should adopt? Before ensuring that all children are granted schooling, it is important that schools offer high quality education. If the parents feel that the school has little to offer that is relevant for them, their motivation for sending their children to school will be lowered. And here I collect some common challenges for education sector that creative society should fix in the future. One is a shortage of qualified teachers. We need more qualified teachers. And two, overcrowded classrooms. Three, lack of teaching materials and poor quality curricula. Four, and then the last one is teaching in another language than the student's mother tongue. In many countries, including Morocco, language poses a major barrier for children's ability to learn. There are plenty of students are unable to follow their studies because language which they don't master is used in class. Being taught in your own language rather than in English or in French is important for enhanced learning and quality in school. There are many key elements of qualitative education, and I will mention as much as I can. The first, teacher. Teacher is one of the most important factor in the quality of education. Before we position or appoint a teacher, we should take into consideration, is he or she a trained teacher? Is he or she personally suited? Does he or she use teaching methods that permit the pupils to participate actively? Do teaching methods even out the different starting points of the student, including gender? Has the teacher access to the to satisfy the requirement of the curriculum? Is the teacher present in the classroom when he or she is supposed to be? The teacher who cannot survive on their weight will become less motivated and have frequent absence. As we can say, in some places, the pay is so low that it doesn't provide living wage, and teachers are then forced to take an additional work in order to survive. We need more teachers and proficient teachers in creative society. Good teachers are essential for well-adapted education. A teacher who have academic knowledge and the ability to communicate and cooperate, as well as to follow pupils individually. The second key element is educational content. Are the curriculum and the teaching material relevant? Are basic literacy and numeracy skills efficiently emphasized? The third one is learning environment. Is the learning healthy source, protective, inspiring, and adapted for both girls and boys? Is there an inclusive learning environment also for minorities or pupils with disabilities? Do the students learn to respect each other and the surrounding natural environment? Do the teacher cooperate to ensure a sound learning environment? Do they punish the pupils? Are parents and surrounding community include so as to ensure that the school is a welcome place to be? The fourth element is schooling management. Is the school well run? Does it adhere to national guidelines? Is the school day well organized? And is the administration of the school transparent so that everyone can see how funding and other resources are deployed? Do teachers have clear parameters for how they should teach and treat pupils? Do head teachers and the school board treat teachers with respect? And the fifth element is precondition for pupils. What experiences do students bring with them to the school? Has the pupil been expressed to special challenges such as natural disaster, abuse, and labor? Has the pupil grown up in an environment where girls and boys have equal opportunities? How dissimilar is the language used at school to one spoken at home? Are pupils hungry when they arrive at school? Do any suffer from chronic disease? Do they have a long way to school, and what is this? The sixth element is the last one, which is the founding and organization. These are two important requests for all 6 key elements, and they are mainly nationally responsibility. A school that is no clear guideline will not be able to ensure quality. However, each individual school must administer its own resources and organize the work in the best possible way on its own terms. And that's all about my topic, which is the qualitative education in a creative society. I hope everyone could get what I'm trying to say. That's all.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much,
you.
Mahdi, for this detailed
Bravo.
presentation.
Bravo. Thank you very much. Thank you. You have
Yes,
really
because
performed excellently.
This is the internal, internal vision of a student on the education system. I think it has a particular value. Why? Because we can see from inside what is lacking and what we should do in the creative society, because Mahdi mentioned very important points. And here we have also in front of us now the 6th ALLATRA Foundation about development of personality. That education, that every person in the creative society has the right to a comprehensive development and personal development, and education plays a role here. And Mahdi said it's a passport to the future. So without education, we can go nowhere, as education, as you just mentioned, actually stops us also to promote violence, to stop violence actually. And it will help us to recognize this world and to find our place in this world and to finally understand who we are and why we are in this, what is the meaning of our life actually. And we have 2 more speakers, 2 more guests, and we just called him 5 minutes ago, Father Rahman, Sudanese ecologist who is now living in China. If you hear us, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you so much, Olga. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for all participants for their fruitful and available presentations. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
Okay. When I read the ALLATRA Foundations, I think one of them, ALLATRA Foundation themes was talking about justice and equality. And human is the fundamental unit of the society. And also the humanity is one of, the humanity is the big family. But in spite of all that, but still when it's come to climate change and natural resource, we found injustice in climate change to some communities, which means the adverse impact of warming climate are not felt equitably among people. Then many questions will raise up to our minds after these things. What's wrong? What makes this injustice in climate change? The answer will be there is no wise consume to natural resource, or we can call it mismanagement. Some people, or the people whom people live in countries that are rich in oil, gas, gold, and copper, are living in poverty, while corrupt governments earn revenue from these resources. People lack health care, jobs, decent education, and proper roads. Local communities have no say in the extraction of resources from the land and suffer from pollution, corruption, human rights violations, and the effects of climate change. So natural resources are controlled many countries, the state of the country. However, if the state corrupt with greed, power, and desire for gains, the society as a whole can prevail. Therefore, to ensure governments are responsible equitably for all must be implemented in the laws of the society and followed through without nepotism. Educating people of the can also increase this idea of governmental and responsibility, as the people will become aware of what government is doing and decide if it's positive or negative. A society makes for government as they will have their heard against injustice. So in world as rich as strong, that communities rich in not face poverty, corruption, human rights violation due to natural resources. When countries too heavily on non-natural resources, they often do what they earn in agriculture, distribute income more widely across society. When communities are seized for pipe mines, farming, and fields suffer. Indigenous people and women are particularly vulnerable. Governments and companies of their concern and want to exploiting resources. Governments do not always revenues back to communities. So at the end, I think we need us to defend the local people rights if and there how projects are carried out, not add to poverty and powerlessness. They should help overcome these challenges as part of mentally and socially responsible form of development. That's all what I prepared for presentation. I hope you natural resource and climate change.
Father Rahman, so did you finish your presentation or you'll be because I think your connection
can you hear us?
Became now a little bit unstable.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for this presentation, and maybe you can also share your experience how it is living in another country. I mean, do you find it easy? I think maybe there is some problem with the internet connection, and we can introduce our last guest for today.
Hello, okay.
Hopefully he will have also internet connection. It's Mohanad from Khartoum. He is economist, and he was also invited in our broadcast before in the project, within the project 6 Degrees of Connection, ALLATRA Sudan, and he was elaborating very important ideas about unification of the people on the African continent. Mohanad, do you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Great. So maybe you can give us your vision about unification of people, and also what do you think?
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Mohammed Hashim from Sudan, from North Sudan. I'm an economist and interested in sustainability and economic sustainability. I joined ALLATRA for many years, 2 or 3 years now. I'm glad you having me again. So basically, for the to sum up all what your guest said, it's well explained. So we need to reform. We need so many reforms. I would like to call it reform because it's very difficult to tear down all the systems, the old system, and to build again. So you can recorrect a lot of mistakes that we've been doing in the past as humanity and as societies. I'd like to point the guest from Morocco said about education. It's very powerful and very meaningful points. We have to start from education from early stages for the next generation, so we can truly transform the society to a more creative society. Regarding creative society, it's all about a mindset. Also about the guest Leslie from USA, he talked about trust and love. So it's basically start from the childhood. We have to raise our children in a better way. So to teach them that there is no differences, because from the year 4 to I believe 7 or 8, this is where the basic wiring of the child mind starts to begin, and his first definition of the world around him and what is right and what is wrong. So we have to start with this. Also, I would suggest that if ALLATRA can in the future hopefully introduce like some very simple program for the children, so they, as let's say as a game, for example, or a video games, or I mean not as some simple games, or what they call a cartoon animation, to teach them that there is no differences, that we all share the same destiny, the same basic instincts, and the same basic rights. So this is the first point. The second thing is in the adult level in our world, for now we need to just to break the boundaries, to rethink what can we do, because one of the guests also mentioned a very good point, that ALLATRA starts with all. Also, I exist because of we. So if we can think collectively to share a common goal about all the humanity, then we can raise to the next level. Regarding Africa, for me now, it's Africa is rising up. The new generations is starting to see that the old system were basically using Africa for his advantage, and basically it was all about the materialistic, the resources. So now we are waking up so that the real resource of Africa is the African people themselves. We started to see that we can do much more than just to maybe travel to the Western world or to the Eastern world. We can still staying here in Africa and build Africa again. So I would like to quote from the ex-president, what they say, make Africa great again. So I believe that we can make Africa great again by teaching ourselves, by sharing our ideas, by accepting one another. One of the major problem in Africa is acceptance. So we can see the civil conflict all over the place. For example, here in Sudan, we used to have them, but thankfully for the last few months, we had the peace agreement that will re-inform the country for one direction. So I believe the compass, what they say, the compass, is the most important thing. Where are you going, in which direction, and why you are doing this? That will lead us to the meaning of life and the meaning of your existence. So if you don't have a meaning for what you are doing, you are basically wasting your time. So you have to know, is your heart in this place? Are you doing it for love, or are you doing it for money, or are you doing it? By the way, doing it for money is not bad, but you have to have a clear purpose. Why are you basically doing what you are doing? So for me now, we have to have a clear vision for ALLATRA Africa, for in a personal level, also in our country, in Africa as a whole, so we can rebuild, we export our not our resources, but actually our best of human capital, because the human capital is the basic, is the diamond of all capitals. And lastly, I would sum up with always we have to to stay true to ourselves, to keep questioning ourselves. Why are we doing what we're doing? And the reason, of course, if it's not connecting to love, this for me this is not true. You always, you have to come from a place of love, a love for what you do and for changing people's life. And the one last thing is that also quoted by one of the guests is, I've been listening carefully because there's very interesting points that if you help others, you basically help yourself. And if you will get satisfied by getting something, but you will be very more satisfied by giving to others, giving back to others. So it's all about love, trust, and respect for everyone's culture and backgrounds, and accepting one another. And then we can start from there to we can say from that point we can say we are now in the very first foundation of creative society. And by what we are doing right now, I believe in the coming, let's say in the coming very few months, or let's say 2 years, we can really see the results of this bubble going very big, and this circle going very big, and then we can experience what creative society. Because also, one last thing, for example, the very famous scientist Einstein, or even the entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, all these names, scientifically approved that the human is using less than 5% from his full capacity of human brain. So we can imagine if we raise the next generation to using more than the maximum capacity of their human brain, combined with their heart and ethics and doing the right thing, we can see far way more innovations and more things that's coming to reality. We would never thought this will be possible. But I don't mean in the terms of technologies, because we already know this. We are going extremely fast with these new technologies. But I mean within the human himself, within his beliefs and what he thinks, and what is happiness for him. Happiness is something you can never measure. For me, happiness is more about, you can find a farmer in far east of China, maybe a neighbor to Fatah Rahman. He's very happy. He's very happy and very satisfied. And you can find the richest man on earth. Maybe he has a very deep depression, because it's never about what you have. It's about how you feel, and it's about what are you doing, and do you have meaning? Do you have meaning for all of this? So we have, and by the way, meaning is created. You create the meaning for what you're doing, and you design the purpose, and you decide what you want to do with your life, because this is the basic fundamental rights for the 8 ALLATRA, for the 8 principles, human freedom. This is, I believe, this is the basic meaning of freedom, to decide what you want and why you want to do it, and from there you can go far more than you thought is possible. Thank you everyone for this very meaningful and thoughtful conversation, and hopefully to join for the next one as well. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you so much, Muhammad, for your overview and summary of our roundtable, because it gives us inspiration to move forward with the upcoming events. And we started, actually, it's interesting that we started with the presentation of Mastewal, who was talking about treasures of Africa, about cobalt, about other resources that are in Africa. And you mentioned that actually what is the most important resource is humans. So human resources, they are the most valuable. So we again started with resources, and we finishing with resources, and finishing with our first ALLATRA Foundation. And maybe our technical support can show it to our viewers. Again, our first ALLATRA Foundation.
And while technical support is looking for foundation number 1, I also wanted, oh, there it is. Yeah, the human life. Human life is the highest value. Life of any human has to be protected as one's own. The goal of society is to ensure and guarantee the value of each human's life. There is not and never can there be anything else more valuable than a human's life. If one human is valuable, then all people are valuable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
exactly.
all the speeches. And
I think they were, all of them were interesting, right? Because
yes, they covered so many topics. They covered so many aspects, and I'm really thankful for all of you joining today and presenting your speeches. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So if maybe someone has some closing questions, I mean, our guests. Or suggestions, maybe, because we are having our new topics for the upcoming telebridges, and we have the feedback from everyone. Otherwise, from our side,
I would like to. Sorry, I would like to ask the Mr. From Ethiopia, our guest from Ethiopia, who has a very, very resourceful presentation. So, if possibly, you can share with us maybe in the group the presentation just for the recap and for studying the data, and then we can from there also we would like to share some similar thoughts regarding this. So our guest from Ethiopia for the presentation it was very interesting, and we would like to share it with us if possible. Thank you.
Certainly, we will.
Thank you very much. And like Leslie said, we are showing how it works, the unity, the creative society. Like today, we all joined and we found time, we volunteer our time to share information with each other, to enrich our knowledges and share what we know to others. And everybody gave speech from his field of work. And it was very interesting and very informative, and I really appreciate everybody's time. I would like to add that this beautiful project, Creative Society, gives each person an understanding of what role he or she plays in formation of this creative society, and it is very important now for everyone to spread this idea. And actually today you contributed to Creative Society, and thank you all very, very much. Olga, would you like to add something?
No, I think it was great to have you all, and then keep in touch And then see you next time in our upcoming events.
Please join our project and please share this video with people you know, and let's all together build this world a better future for our children. So thank you very much. And the join button is on the screen. As you can see, it's very, very easy. You just go to ALLATRAUnites.com website, click join button, and you're a participant, and you decide the way you would like to participate.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
And
everyone.
I want to invite...
Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Olga, are we offline?
Society, this has to be there, that every individual of the society should be aware about the special uniqueness, what makes him or her special, and he is able to express that uniqueness in his work, and together, working in collaboration, together a beautiful society can be created.
I think you should care about health and education and like eliminating the poverty. I know it's impossible.
About the creative society, it's very important to talk about the civilization dialogue, the civilization communication between all the nations.
Definitely, if you are safe, you have peace of mind, and that will help you to be more creative in life. So everything is linked together. So yeah, safety plays a big role in creativity, definitely.
Basic things that people require to survive, like education, healthcare, shelter, they are easily provided for people.
The society which everybody respects everybody, regardless of your religion, your language, your skin. We are humans after all.
Creative society, you can't create without being educated.
Freedom of choice, freedom of expression, freedom, to wake up and do what you want to do, and empowerment as well to do what you choose to do.
Respecting each other, everybody is accepting each other, everybody is ready to work together in collaboration with each other, and then we will have more innovation in life, in the society, in whole world, which can lead to advancement in technology and more discoveries, and yes, a beautiful peaceful world can be established more easily.
We are talking, there are other people who are suffering. We have to feel about these people.
We can say a lot of words, all right? We can do a lot of publishing, we can do a lot of things, but people look at us and they want to see what we do. See that ideal society first. And everyone, the people around you will see that, and they will also want to follow in your footsteps. And
the more people, like-minded people who have the same values, who agree on the same thing, the more they come together, the more we can actually improve our society to make it better for everyone involved.
Stressing the importance of creativity and asking everybody to share their opinion about creativity. This is the way it will spread out, and I think you will be playing a big role in spreading the message across the globe.
Perfect. I have nothing to say.